All right. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. So, I just want to be completely clear and transparent. Me making these videos is not to disparage anyone or anything. My intent is just to tell you all about my experience representing myself in a court of law. I was looking at 30 years in prison if I was convicted. I was innocent, of course, of any wrongdoing, and ultimately I chose to represent myself in court. There's a lot of people who say, that they would do it, that they want to do it, and they try and, give some type of opinion about it. Well, I'm someone who actually did represent myself in trial, and this is a very serious trial. Like I said, I was looking at 30 years and acquitted on all charges. So, with that being said, like I said, my whole goal is just to shed light on my experience representing myself because I feel like not enough people actually talk about it. Not enough people even do it in the first place, and then not a lot of people even talk about it. So, with that being said, let's get started. So, this is May 7th, 2024. That is me. And at this point, I had been incarcerated for about 6 months. And this is the very beginning of trial. So I'm just going to play a little bit of it, let you guys get a feel of what's going on. And yeah, I'll stop, pause, give my commentary, so on and so forth. This is, to be transparent, a 2 day trial. And my life was very much hanging in the balance when all this was going on. So you see me, if you really pay attention to me, I am extremely like laser focused on setting myself free. Now, to my right and the left of the screen, you have a prosecutor, a detective, a detective. So the state was really trying to use really trying to fund this conviction that they tried for, but they failed. Let's get started. I'm just going to skip around a little bit so you guys get a real feel of how jury selection actually is.
Warren Circuit Court Division 1 is now in session with our Honorable Judge Christopher Coron presiding. All persons having business before the court, drawn out shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth is on the court. Be seated, please.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Coron. I'm the circuit judge here in Warren Circuit Court, Division 1. We have a jury trial today that we will get started here in just 1 second. Before we get too far into that, I've got two individuals who are not able to be here for jury orientation. I need to swear in real quick. Robert Gohagen and Aaron Manning, if you will both please stand. Not trying to shame you, just got to go over this. All right. Are both of you all United States citizens, 18 years of age or older? Are you a resident of Warren County?
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. So, Judge just walked in the room. That's why we all stood. He introduced himself. This was in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and the date is in the far left corner. As you can see, he's just going to, two of these guys have to be excused for whatever reason, and they're going to say, yes, I cannot do jury duty because blah blah blah. This is all the very early stages of this is the very beginning part of jury duty here. Let's skip around. So right here, they're calling everyone's name to come up here, to come up and sit in these seats, and then what's going to happen is the prosecutor and me representing myself, we're going to come up here and we're going to poll these jurors. All right, so we're going to ask them questions to really weed out who can't be objective and non-biased. In other words, the prosecution is going to try and put who they want on the jury, and I'm going to try and put who I want on the jury, and that's what this whole process is about.
LaVon Howard. Sarah Hoyt. Carol Eichen.
So as they're calling up everybody, notice what these two, the attorneys, are doing, and then also notice what I'm doing. So, when you go and represent yourself, you really have to understand, as long as you're not trying to like do it for any type of like publicity, if you're really trying to advocate for yourself in a legal setting, you have to be so dialed in. Like, you have to be like almost kind of like a like an athlete. If you've ever competed in anything, when you go and perform, that's essentially the kind of mode that you have to be in. So as they're calling up these potential jurors, I'm writing down, who they're calling up and what they're dressed like, what they look like, so I can remember later down the line. But we're going to skip this part. That's the judge right there, Chris Coron. There I am talking to the judge. Oh, let's see what we're saying here.
I'll just be cross-examining. I'll be cross-examining their witnesses.
Okay.
And I just wanted to ask you, this is unrelated, but a number of people have sent in character letters for me over the past months. I didn't know if you had received them or not.
I got 2 this morning.
2 this morning? That's total what you have? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. This is not unusual. This is process. I know as a juror it can be frustrating. Sometimes there's issues we have to deal with outside of earshot of the jury. If at any point in time that happens, you're not to take any inference either way in regards to that. If you get frustrated with anybody, get frustrated with me, not either side. So, with that, Ms. Kent, you may please.
So we do that quite often in this trial. In my trial, this is my only trial I've ever participated in when I'm the defendant. But the lawyers go up to the bench, talk to the judge about legal matters. Actually, on this recording, you hear pretty much everything as far as what we're saying. Sometimes when we get actually in the trial, we talk like a little bit low. Make sure that's on there. Yeah, that's on there. But for the most part, we're just going to talk about legal matters regarding pretty much the fairness of this trial for both sides. So the Commonwealth attorney, she is getting up here and she is going to poll the jury, and she's going to come off. I want you to really watch her. She's going to really come off really friendly because it's very performative. These people, they know when to turn it on, essentially. And so she wants the jury to be on her side. She's the state representative. She's the attorney. She's for good and for the people, and she's gonna sound really warm. Just watch this.
Permission to approach you.
Yes. Let's make sure she's got a microphone with a standard level, please.
Perfect. So, good morning.
Perfect. Oh my God.
Again, my name is Alexis Kent. I told you that I'm a prosecutor for Warren County and Edmonton County. I don't know if you can see everybody at the council's table, people that are up here holding the podium, but that's Alicia Snodgrass, Detective Perry, Detective Carter. As an assistant Commonwealth attorney, I'm here as a representative of the Commonwealth. Okay. There is a victim in this case. The victim is not my client. I'm here today because the state of Kentucky thinks that a crime has occurred. I'm going to be here today to give you some evidence and then ultimately ask you to make a determination of guilt. But in order to do that, I have a duty to pick a jury that's right for this case. And Judge told you a little bit about that. And we're going to go through some
You also have a duty not to pursue frivolous cases that amount to nothing, but here we are.
things that might make you not right for this case. Pursuant to that duty, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, okay? And some of them might be uncomfortable, and some of them might be invasive, and certainly they're none of my business personally, but they are for my job. So I appreciate any answer that you can give me. This is another initial matter. This is the only time that we can kind of do this, where we're going to talk. So if me, Alicia, Jess, Gordon see you in the hallway, see you in the elevator, and we don't even meet your gaze.
Oh, and let me mention this. So this right here, two detectives sitting at the table is very, I have never, ever, I've watched a lot of trials. So after all of this happened, I really got into law. I really started studying, and I'm actually in school currently. But I have never seen two detectives sit at the table that's really meant for lawyers and maybe a paralegal and, you know, the defendant or whatever, if you were on the defendant's side. But I've never seen two detectives sit at the table with the lawyers. I just think that's very interesting. But we're going to continue.
Please do not think we're being rude. We're just trying to maintain the fairness of this trial. Okay. So, I have a quick question for everybody, and I'm going to take a raise of hands, okay? Who here has taken a graded test before? I kind of expected everybody, right? This is not that. There are no right answers. There are no wrong answers. The only way you fail this test is if you fail to tell the truth, okay? That's all I want. No answer that you give will upset me, will let me down, is not the answer that I want. The only answer I want is the answer that is truthful.
Ms. King, can I interject one thing real quick?
Yes, sir.
If any point in time you are asked a question by either side and you don't feel comfortable talking about it in front of 85 of your newest friends, what we can do is have you come to the bench and we can address that outside of earshot of everybody. So if any point in time you think, boy, I'd like to answer this question that's been asked, but I sure don't want to have to talk about it open in front of the entire room, raise your hand and we'll have you come to the bench, okay? Go
Do
ahead.
lots of hand raising.
All right, we're going to pause it there, and we're going to skip. Looking at it now, some of these people, there's a few that were actually actual jury members. This guy was.
You know her. And then we've already gone over Detective Jess Perry. So I'm also going to call Detective Grimsley. He works at PGPD. Does anybody know him?
I also know him as a definitive professional capacity.
Okay. Same question. Still good? Thank you, sir. I'm also going to call Melissa Gilpin. She's a sane nurse at the medical center. Does anybody know her in a way? Anybody at all know her? Okay. And then jailer Stephen Harmon. Yes, sir.
Ms. Ken, I think we had one that knew Ms. Ken.
Yes, sir.
I also know him as a professional capacity.
Same question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I know the
So this guy just said he knows the jailer. So this guy's name, I forgot his first name, but his last name is Pickett. This guy he works at the jail. He's a corrections officer at the jail. You can't make this shit up. And somehow, and this guy was known to be the rudest, most disrespectful guy at the jail. None of the inmates in either pod, anywhere in the jail, liked him. We always knew when this guy came around, he was either going to do something like really fucked up towards you, or something of that nature. So explain to me, someone in the comments somewhere, someone anywhere, explain to me how in God's name did this man get selected as a potential juror for my trial when he works as at the jail and interacts with me directly. This guy was an asshole to me directly. It's not about it's not about oh, I heard this or I heard that, nothing of that nature. Let me make sure I'm still recording here. Yes. So it's what he did directly to me. I have literally a grievance that I filed on this guy in my little binder. This guy's an asshole. And how he got on my trial, I don't know. But let's go ahead. So yeah, they ask all the BS questions, and at one point she asked, there I am right there with all my straight backs. At one point she asked, who here can say, without any evidence whatsoever, we can convict you? Who here can convict without any evidence? That's with just testimony. That's literally what she's saying in some of these questions. And some of these people are speaking out. This guy right here, he spoke out. He's like, well, what? How can you say you don't have evidence and you want us to convict them off just testimony? And we are going to go to the next one.
Everybody remain seated, please. If
I left. She has been quiet the entire time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so here we have my turn. It's my turn to get some questions in because I need to know who the heck is going to be on my jury. I want to know who's objective, who can tell the truth, and who can decipher fact from fiction. Okay? Let me give you a little bit of audio on that. This one might be a little personal. I need everyone to be honest here. Does anyone believe that the criminal justice system is not racially biased? Boom! Let me pause it right there. The criminal justice system is very much racially biased. Newsflash. So this is one of my many questions. I needed to figure out who's a racist, who is one of those people that just believe the police just never do any wrong and they're always just out to just be your friend and da 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 da. So we do a lot of asking questions. Some of these people. Ooh, what's this one? Now, by show of hands, who is legally single? Can you get rating a little higher? So. Okay, thank you. By show of hands, who all is employed? So you guys can make rational decisions at your job, at your workplace about day-to-day work activities and how to go about your job, essentially, how to go about furthering your company or making more money or just getting the day-to-day work activities and the job tasks done. Does anyone here feel like, by show of hands, they feel like they can problem solve really well? That's about half of you. So the other half doesn't feel like you can problem solve at all or pretty well at all? Crickets, they're like, oh my god, fucking. So I bet some of them are like, you're guilty. Let's throw him away. But yeah, that's just a little bit of the my turn. So what happens after that is we start striking jurors. And look at that guy right there. Handsome fella. So they're trying to strategically X out pretty much any of the jurors that may seem like they would side for me for any reason, right? So anyone, first off, if you're black, they got their microscope on you. They're looking. And if you're black and have a criminal record or know someone of have been a victim of crime or even have anything to do with any kind of crime or know someone who's incarcerated or anything like that, you're getting struck. Okay. But overall, this process was, I'm going to like wrap it up here soon for this first part. But overall, this process was, I wouldn't say fun, but it was very, I had never gotten up in front of people and spoke like this, especially when my life is on the line. I'm going to go more in depth about the specifics of the case in later videos, but this was my very first YouTube video ever. And I felt like I needed to cover this major topic, this major event that has happened to me in my life. It's probably the most, probably like top 3 events that's ever happened to me in my life. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll try to address them in the next video. And have a good day.